Good morning, everybody. What's going on? The morning loop begins. Mornings in the lab with Keith and friends getting after it on a Wednesday. Boom, boom, baby. Yeah, forget the 10,000 steps, the Japanese hack that torches calories in half the time. Coming up on the show today, center stage around the corner, sales legend Ben Sims reveals how staying 10 years at one company, yeah, made him a boardroom ninja, and why his secret will shock you. On the deep dive, the sleep debt emergency, why men over 40 suddenly can't perform. Yeah, that's a true story. Mind Fuel, AJ Zeglin coming up on the show. The brutal truth about marriage and why so many men call it their worst decision. We're going to get into that conversation today as well. Morning Loop Reloaded, second hour. Dating apps destroying young adults and no men good left. What? Really? Yeah. Well, no, there's good men left here on the show. Every single day here, 8 o'clock Eastern time, myself and Jimmy, Johnny and Marty. On the Morning Focus, testosterone revolution. Surprise habits to double your T levels after 35. And martial arts mogul Nicholas Suino joins us. 7 businesses, ancient mindset, tech, and how to kick your business goals straight through a brick wall. That's another true story. Oh, just dropping true stories left and right. Speaking of true stories, we're going to talk about the store in a few minutes here, Jimmy. Stay tuned for emotional check-in, man. Morning fitness over 40 and a sprinkle of cutting-edge AI talk all before your second cup of coffee. Just a reminder, everybody, smash the like, slap the subscribe button, and drop yourself a comment in the community telling which segment wrecked your excuses to get up and get after. And just a reminder, guys, this is an R-rated show. Yep. So if you got kids in the room, get them out. Get those little fuckers out of there. Yeah, true story. Just get them out. Or just get the parents out. One of the two. Because Uncle Keith's vocabulary is sharp today. I had a good sleep last night. Guys, don't hit that snooze button. Hit the snooze button. You're going to be 9 minutes behind the guy who didn't. And I can see that, Jimmy, you lost the bet, brother. Ben Sims is in the green room. Yeah, Ben, we always bet on the horses that show up, whether they're going to make it in or not. And we're going to have to see if Ben is one of those IKEA instruction readers. We'll see if Ben gets the instructions correct on the vertical side and the horizontal side. Guys, we are your daily accountability partner for live morning accountability, starting your day right here at 8 o'clock Eastern time, over there on LinkedIn, over there on X, and over there on the Substack. Let's get it going here, guys. Let's get it going. Let's bring up some fun. Let's get the show on the road here this morning, Jimmy. And hey, listen, guys, you want to talk to us? You want to talk to us? Well, hey, we got the hotline available. Jimmy, let's put the hotline up on the screen. 431 boom 300-3005. The only hotline to get yourself into the show. Text, voicemail, live calls. We're pretending it's 1985. The old FM radio shows right here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. So I encourage you, I invite you. I haven't set the voicemail up yet. So if you called right now, you're going to hear I'm sorry, the voicemail you have set up is not ready yet. So, but you can text us, 431-300-3005, or you can phone me right now. Just phone me right now. I might answer the phone. There's another true story. Yes. All right, we got Ben Sims hanging out, waiting for us, coming up here in the lab. Guys, I got a little rant I think I got to get on the table this morning. Jimmy, I know I don't do a lot of rants here. I'm not a ranter. Since I've been hanging out with Johnny, I've stopped the ranting. However, guys, listen to the strings. Okay, let's just tune the tune. There we go. All right, I got a rant, a little bit of a rant. So, I've been talking to folks as I'm building this business, and folks are all like curious what we're building here. And I got some folks that are in the AI camp and some folks that aren't in the AI camp. Well, I got something for you guys. I was in the UGC camp years ago. What's that? The user-generated content camp before it came social media. That was just what we called it back in the olden days. And a lot of people back there were looking at me like I was a fucking weirdo. What are you doing, man? What are you doing with the social media stuff, Keith? I'm like, it's the future. A lot of content happening. They're like, what? Like, yeah, I'm telling you, man. People are going to create content, distribute. It's going to be a big thing out there. And that was back in the olden days, back in the early 2000s. People are like, I think you're full of shit. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, it's coming. Well, lo and behold, Uncle Keith was right. Built his company, sold it for $50 million. Yeah, true story. Yeah, good old, big old social media company. Guys, I can predict the future. How do I know? Because I'm living in it. I've been part of it. But here's my point. Here's my motherfucking point. Too many of you guys don't think it's happening. Too many of you are just kind of sitting back saying, no, AI is a crutch. I'm going to ask you guys something. What happened 2.5 years ago? Text came out, overwhelmed the world. Text, chat GPT, overwhelmed with text. Then what happened? We moved to the image generators, and it was, the internet's being flooded with images all over the place. Yeah, that's a true story. Images everywhere. And then what's happened in the last 6 months? Well, video. When I got video generating everywhere and AI slop everywhere. So if you look back to the last 2 years, and hey, that's not too far ahead. So it's not too far behind. This last 2 years was text, imagery, video. Now let's do a little game and pretend to the next 2 years ahead. You guys don't think video is going to overwhelm all of us? You guys don't think the AI wave is not only here, is not only coming? How do I know? Because I'm doing it, I'm building it. Every single day, I'm putting 100 hours plus a week into using these tools. What's it doing? It's changing my life. And it's going to be changing your life. You guys don't even fucking know it. What's the common denominator? Why are we doing this daily? Live conversation is the future. How do I know? Trust me. Just trust me. I've done it before. I'm doing it again. Get on my train. If you don't get on my train, you're going to be left fucking behind. I cannot tell you that enough, you guys, because I've been there. I'm a part of it again, and I'm encouraging you. I'm having conversations with folks on a daily basis and looking at me puzzled. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's happening. It's happening. It's how do I know? Because I'm doing it. And there's a lot of people talking about it. Talk. Yeah, this, yeah, that. Are you doing it? No, you're not. You're just talking about it. This whole business is built on the back of it. So guys, get on board or get left behind. And I got an invite for you. You want to come hang out with me and the guys in the lab? Well, let's do that. I'll teach you everything I'm knowing. I teach you everything I'm doing, and we'll help you build your business along the way. All right, there's my little bit of a rant, and I'm going to keep that going, guys, because I'm passionate about it. I'm so passionate about it, and so many people, your heads are in the sand. I know because, and I'm not trying to be bullish. I'm not trying to be belligerent about it. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. You just got to look between the lines. Netflix just announced yesterday taking all the France programming and making it live. So, just look at culture around us, guys. Look at what YouTube launched last night. YouTube communities. Why? Because the world's going to full of AI slop. The way to stand out is live conversation with community. End of story. Community, live conversation. Boom, boom, boom. Supplement it with your AI tools and your AI content, just like we're doing in the lab. There you go. There's my rant. Jimmy, I see Johnny in the lab. He got his ass in here. What's going on, brother? Before you showed up, I had to get my rant out because I know you don't like my rant sometimes. Like, okay, Johnny's not here, so I'm going to get this off my chest right now. I'm just going to get it off my chest. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, you are cursing up a storm, brother.
I had some things to say, man. I had some things to say because I'm telling you, brother, just like you're passionate about a number of things around habits and certain things that you've learned in your life, dude, I'm telling you, I'm so fucking passionate and bullish about what's happening now and what's around us because I'm right in the middle of it. Like right in the middle of it. And I'm telling you, Johnny, this is the exact same thing that happened to me 10, 15 years ago when people were watching me build my ICUC company. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? I'm like, trust me. And then on the Monday came and I'm like, yeah, I just sold my company for $50 million. They're all like, oh, I'm like, I told you guys. I told you. There you go. How are you today?
I'm good. I was way past my bedtime last night.
Oh no. I was in bed early, an hour earlier last night. I got my energy today. Why are you up so late?
I had some family stuff that was going a little sideways that I had to handle. I can't really air out anybody's dirty laundry.
Yeah.
No, it's just you can't. I guess you could say sorry, but I guess you just say, hey, it's kind of part of life.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
But it's crazy. Once I miss that window, so if I'm going to bed at like 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Oh, dude.
Dude. that's like deep sleep time for me. So then when I try to go to sleep at that point, it's like my body's like, dude, you missed your shit. It's like if I try to take a nap at 3, my body's like, you missed that window. That window ends at 11. So I was like, it was just that really shallow, like I knew I was sleeping, but the real good sleep, you don't know anything.
No, that was me last night. I was in bed like about 8 o'clock, so 8:30, and I got up for like 12:30 for a piss. I looked at my clock. I'm like, yes, I still got all night to sleep. I was so happy. I was like, still had 3.5 hours of sleep. And Johnny, I beat my alarm this morning. We talked about before, man. I know we're so passionate about sleep. When you beat your alarm, you know you're onto something, pal.
That means your circadian is really dialing in.
That's it. Hey, coming up, guys, what if I told you there's a sales executive who manages 30 different companies, sales teams simultaneously, and he's been with the same employer for 10 years? Johnny, should we hold that? Like, dude, 10 years with the same. Actually, I was with the same employer was for the 10 years too, the company that bought me. And then I got the proverbial phone call. Hello? Yes. Oh, what's that? Oh, you guys are going in that direction? Yeah. What's that? Oh, you want me to go in that direction? Oh, I see how it works. So I got that proverbial call after my tenure. This guy's been hanging out for 10 years. Ben Sims coming up in a few minutes. Johnny, you've never worked for anybody, man. This guy's worked for somebody for 10 years, buddy.
I know it's crazy because it's like a section of life I've never, ever experienced.
I know.
Like some people say, never been into a strip club. They've never experienced that part of life. Right?
I'm sorry.
I'm just making a weird example. Yeah, I've never experienced sitting in a chair across from somebody at a desk with them looking at resume or asking me questions. Do I fit the bill for the job? I've never experienced that before.
I have a confession. You brought something up in me. Just like our bond keeps. Oh, by the way, your assistant, AJ has your phone number.
Good job.
Yes. Thank you, boss. Thank you.
That's it.
So I remember working with my buddy, Willie. I'll leave his last name off the table. And we were growing up. We were 16. We had some fake IDs. And I was like, Willie, there's a new strip club opening in town. Let's go open it up and close it. So we did. We got there at 11 o'clock in the morning, Johnny. At 16, we sat there till 2 a.m.
What, you're 16 years old?
Yeah, I was 16 at the time. I had the fake ID.
I can't think of a better, when you're that age, I can't think of a better place to be. In America, if I had a chance, you couldn't get into one of those things till you were 18 in America.
So I looked a little mature for my age. So that's why I look young now. I aged quick. I throw good lumens on, so I look younger now, but I aged.
Hold on. Are you giving yourself the whole thing? That's why I look young. That's a good one.
Yes, he sat there from 11 a.m.
Like these are things that normally someone else is supposed to give you, but I suppose you can give it to yourself.
You know? I look at myself. I do this every single day. I look at myself in the camera, so I might as well give it to myself, brother. Might as well give it to myself. Good morning, Lady Drew. I see you there in the comments. Good morning, Holroyd. I see you there as well, brother. Roofy, me too, John Anderson. At least you were handling business. I see. Oh, Roofy was watching the hockey game last night. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers. They won the Stanley Cup last night. Number 2, a dynasty is emerging. And Roofy, the cup is not coming back to Canada. And I'm okay with it because as I grew up, battling the Oilers for my whole lifetime, I still struggle with the Edmonton Oilers potentially winning the Stanley Cup because it just fucks with my head, man. I can't get over that. So, but Jimmy, let's get to the check-in, and then we're going to bring in our guest, Ben Sims, coming up, the guy who's worked at the same company for 10 years, vice president of B2B omnichannel sales at Market Source, and the man who somehow juggles sales teams for over 30 companies. Jimmy, let's do the check-in, and we'll come back with Ben Sims.
I am capable. I am strong. I will achieve my goals. Today is a new day.
Progress over perfection. We talk about it all the time on the show, and I'll admit it's something that I tell myself and my team daily. But accepting that you'll never be perfect, you know that word perfect is only part of the equation, because you can take action and still feel like you're a fraud and you're a failure. That's the moments I'm telling myself I'm not looking younger every single day. Like, you'll never reach that dream. Like, you'll never be the man they can be proud of. But here's the truth, you guys. Progress doesn't always feel like progress. You heard Johnny before. You put your head down, you go to work, put your head up, and nope. Progress, go to work. It doesn't always feel like progress. You can show up every morning. You can check all the boxes and still look in the mirror at night feeling like something's missing. But for years, I believed that momentum alone would quiet the doubt. Do you know what I learned? It didn't. Things changed when I stopped judging myself, my outcome, And I started measuring myself by my accountability. Do I keep my word to myself and others? Do I hold the line on my standards, even when it's easier to let it slip in the moment? Or do I practice what I preach when it feels like everything is standing still? Most men think the answer is to set those bigger goals or hustle harder. And that's when the shit starts to fall apart despite the effort. And that's when you look in the mirror with resentment. And that is when the burnout comes. So if that's you, I invite you to pause. I invite you to start measuring by ownership, not outcomes alone. Set those daily intentions. Beat the snooze clock. Decide your non-negotiables. Own the way you lead, even when those results come slow. Because the self-respect, men, doesn't come from hitting every target. It comes from showing up for yourself relentlessly. That is a true motherfucking story. Right, Roofy? Showing up for yourself relentlessly. Step one. All right. There's your accountability check-in this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Coming up in a minute, you guys, we got Ben Sims joining us. What if I told you? Jimmy, we're going to do the hook. What if I told you there's a sales executive who manages 30 different company sales teams simultaneously, and he's been in the same employer for 10 years? In an era where job hopping is the norm, Ben Sims is either crazy motherfucking loyal, or he knows something the rest of us doesn't. Spoiler alert, I'm going to think it's probably the latter. Jimmy, let's run the intro. Let's bring in Ben Sims.
What if I told you there's a sales executive who manages 30 different companies' sales teams simultaneously, and he's been with the same employer for 10 years? In an era where job hopping is the norm, Ben Sims is either crazy loyal or knows something the rest of us don't. Meet Ben Sims, Vice President of B2B Omnichannel Sales at MarketSource, the man who somehow juggles sales teams for Fortune 500 giants like Google, IBM, and Amazon without losing his mind. But Ben's not just another sales executive. He's a former School of Rock owner who traded guitar lessons for revenue strategies, proving that rock and roll spirit translates perfectly to corporate success. Ben's obsessed with finding hidden revenue opportunities in companies' existing customer data, essentially becoming a sales archaeologist, digging for buried treasure in spreadsheets. He's on a mission to change the perception that outsourcing means cheap, offshore, low-quality work, proving that outsourced sales can be premium, domestic, and results-driven. Welcome, Ben Sims, to Mornings in the Lab.
Sales and MarketSource, and the man who somehow juggles sales teams for over 30 companies without losing his mind. But Ben's not just a sales exec. He's also the former School of Rock owner who traded guitar lessons for revenue strategies. Let's dive into why he's celebrating a decade with one company when everyone else is updating their LinkedIn profile every 18 months. Let's bring in the man himself, the guy sitting patiently waiting, the guy who reads the IKEA instructions to get into both streams. Let's bring him up, Jimmy. Ben Sims.
What's going on? So that's an awesome walk-up intro. I'd love a copy of that. I've learned today that AI is not to be ignored. Keith is Benjamin Button, apparently. And my career sounds boring. I think I need to go start my own business.
Ben Sims hanging out with us this morning. Good to have you. Brother, where are you joining us from today, pal?
I live in Alpharetta, Georgia, suburbs of Atlanta.
There you go. I love it. I love Atlanta, man. I got my good old buddy David Sowers joining us in Southern Georgia as well. What's going on, Kevin Abreu? I see you there in the comments. Yes, I am the old man disguised as Ben Button. We got Ben Sims joining us here. Ben, you were the owner of School of Rock. Dude, I
was.
Tell me about that.
So you talk about, all right, so corporate America, my whole life, my whole career, I've worked for a company. I've had a W-2. But along the way, I had an itch, right? I still wanted to be kind of an entrepreneur and have my own business. So this was a side hustle. So people talk about, yeah, you could sit here and work 40 hours a week, or you do what I do and you clock in, you work with the people you love, you work with the clients you love. And then when you're done, in the evenings and weekends, we had a rock and roll studio, a music school. And so we were offering lessons, mostly kids, but adults too. So that was a little side hustle that we opened up and owned it for 5 years, sold it, and now that allowed me to work on other side hustles. So don't get caught into this whole corporate 40-hour a week working for the man, you still have opportunities to go make some little extra income on the side, do something that adds to your passion and energy and gives back to the community in a great way. And so you still get to scratch that itch. So I consider that was my midlife crisis. So instead of owning a Porsche, buying a Porsche, or cheating on my wife, I went and opened a business on the side.
Dude, there's a hook. So we talked about last week, men that kind of wake up in their 40s and, we get stuck on doing things. And instead of, getting the hot wife or the Corvette, you went and started a business.
Right. Exactly right. It was fun.
So I got something I read here, which fascinates me, man. You, where is it here? You committed to creating a 2-minute LinkedIn video every week for an entire year in 2021.
Yeah.
50 videos of sales wisdom during a pandemic.
Yep.
Now, most people can barely commit to a Netflix series for that long, yet you got after it every single day. Tell me the secret, brother.
So I agree. At the time, I felt like social selling was hot. So I just wanted to get on there, and it was just 2 minutes. So quick video with my phone, pop it on LinkedIn once a week. They were called 2-Minute Tuesdays. So every Tuesday, I entered them and kept it to a 2-minute short, brief message. My audience was current clients, right? So I have big Fortune 500 customers as clients. I want them to hear some of the message of what we are thinking about here at Market Source and what I'm thinking about from a sales leadership and modern sales methodology perspective. I want my employees to hear it, right? Because it was my way for me to communicate to my teams. Hey, here's where I'm thinking. Here's the tip of the spear. Here's the direction we're going. And so it's kind of a, hey, follow along. Let's go. This is where I'm thinking. But also prospects, right? You never know who's watching. It could be a future customer out there that's paying attention. So those were my 3 audiences, were my current customers, my teams that work with me, and then prospects.
One of the things that struck me about you, brother. Good morning, Brophy. I see you there in the comments, Jason. Love having you on the show. Hey, Brophy. The Panthers won, man. How happy are you not? Or how happy are you, Mr. Flames fan? Kevin Abreu. Oh, it must be Ben Simmons' brother joining us on the show here this morning. We got Kevin Abreu hanging out. Ben, what struck me about when I was doing my little bit of research on you, brother, you were obsessed over finding revenue opportunities in companies' existing customer data.
Yes.
What excites me about that is I was building my business and I'm doing this one right now. It's the most obvious thing that people miss.
Low-hanging fruit.
Why is that, you think? Because we get the stack of data, all these opportunities there, yet we're always looking over here for something new.
Net new.
Talk about that, brother.
Net new. Well, net new is always the priority, right? Your boards, your CEOs, everybody wants net new customers, and yes, it needs to maintain a priority. And what happens is when that is the priority, it distracts them from some low-hanging fruit. So I think there's a couple low-hanging fruit opportunities that you can grow. One is the classic 80-20 rule. It's undefeated, which means 80% of your revenue is coming in from 20% of your customers, right?
Isn't that the truth?
So meanwhile, you have a tail customers that are 80% of your customers generating 20% of your revenue. Well, you can't let them churn. Do you want to lose 20% of your revenue? No. So you got to pay attention to the tail customers, and you got to do it in a smart, efficient way. There's digital ways of staying engaged with them and educating them. But there's opportunities to cross-sell, upsell some of your other products to them potentially. So you got to find a way to pay attention to the tail accounts or your tail channel partners. But my other favorite is what I call the dormant accounts. So these are people that either used to be customers and quit buying from you for whatever reason, or they're buying less from you and they're buying from a competitor. So going after them and rebuild that relationship, fall on the sword, find out why you've lost their business, regain their trust, win them back. That is a much shorter sales cycle than net new, than finding a new customer. And because they already know you, they know your brand, they know who you are. For whatever reason they left, go find out why. That can help your business improve, by the way, and then and get them back. And then I'll add a third internal data that you mentioned, and that is former customers that have gone somewhere else. So if they work for a company, they liked you before, they're not sticking around for 10 years with their employer like I am, they've jumped around somewhere else. go reach out to them, find out what they're doing, what's their new gig, what's their new company, and see if there's an opportunity to bring their new company into your business. So this is all B2B sales. That's my expertise.
Yeah.
Not consumers so much, although I do have selling consumers. But that's, to me, that's low hanging fruit for B2B strategy, especially during uncertain times like this when the buyer's kind of on a hold pattern, which a lot of them are right now.
Brother, you got great energy.
I agree.
Appreciate it.
I agree. I'm loving his energy he's bringing in here.
Well, because you know what it does? It makes it really easy to stay engaged in what you're saying.
Yes.
Even if, sometimes you can be talking about something that's not overly exciting to somebody, but the way you present what you're saying is captivating.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Ben, the other thing that stood out for me, I'm a red thread guy. I know Roofy is as well. Roofy and I talk about it all the time. I'm a red thread guy. I like to find the connection points. You went from teaching rock music to rocking B2B sales.
Well, I was rocking B2B sales at the same time. So I was doing both simultaneously.
But there's a connection point between a great guitar solo and a perfect sales pitch. Ben, what's the red thread between the two of them?
Well, one, the hook, which you've mentioned before, right? You got to catch people's attention. So I'll start with that.
Yeah.
The thing is, what I love about my favorite rock and roll bands have a dynamics to their song. So, like, you grew up in the '80s. A lot of the rock and roll bands had almost a crescendo, like it was a build and then it finished strong.
Yep.
And then came my favorite genre, and I lived in Seattle in the early '90s.
The grunge, baby. The grunge
thing changed things in rock and roll.
Changed the game, man. The whole fucking set of rules changed.
Because one, the lyrics were more interesting. The songwriting was more interesting because '80s was all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And meanwhile, there was an angst going on in 1990 that grunge pulled out of us. But if you really listen to grunge, what it did in changing rock and roll is it changed the dynamic. So the classic song "Smells Like Teen Spirit" like starts slow and then they bang hard and then they bring it back down. And then they bang hard and then they bring it back down. Well, all right, now let's loop this around. If you have a long sales cycle for a multi-million-dollar deal with a client, same thing kind of happens with them, man. You might start strong with your intro, and then you got to bring it down a little bit, and you're doing a discovery, and you bring it back up, and then you got to follow up with them, and then eventually the close. So there's a little bit
just like entertainment, brother. That's like a good movie or even a play or a wrestling match. It's all, you can't keep people on their fucking feet the whole time.
That's right.
Yeah, it's true. Hey, Ben, from Johnny and I, what's your morning routine, brother? How do you start your day?
Oh, that I am boring. I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly, even the way he says that, I want to know what boring is to you, brother. I love it.
Well, I'm not a 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. I hear I should. Some of my bosses do it. That's not me. I'm up at 6. Make a pot of coffee. Catch the weather. What's the weather going to look like today? There are a couple of newsletters I'll read on my inbox, my personal email. So I'll read a couple of those newsletters, and then boom, I'm shit, shower and shaving, and then during the school year, I might take my kids to school. Actually, I really enjoy that 10 or 15 minutes.
To
kind of get their mindset for the day. Find out what they have going on in their life during that 10 or 15 minute car ride, and then I'm off to work. So my workout, I know my circadian rhythm, which I know it really well.
That's
and
awesome.
I know where my strengths are. So think about what I told you earlier. My School of Rock was a side hustle in the evening. I got my MBA in evening classes, right? I know evenings are where I get my second win.
That's your superpower.
So that's when I go to the gym, right? So I'm not 5 a.m. hitting the gym. I know what my strengths and weaknesses are.
Well, brother, just to intervene there, I think the key here is, number one, understanding that about yourself, and number two, utilizing it. Generally speaking, most people don't have a clue about themselves, what you just explained, right? And then the next thing is, if they do know, they're not taking action.
That's right. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith John and Ben Sims, our guest this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. And guys, what if Ben, actually, before we get to this here, Ben, I got to tell you, man, the energy you brought this morning is making me feel obligated to extend the invite. Can you stick around for another 12, 13 minutes with us?
Yeah, I can do that. Sure.
Awesome. Let's do it. Jimmy, let's run this clip. What if I told you that everything you know about walking for fitness is wrong?
Every morning, millions of men check their step counter like it's gospel truth. But what if I told you the 10,000 steps rule is a complete lie? A marketing gimmick from 1960s Japan. Real Japanese scientists just proved that 30 minutes of interval walking destroys traditional step counting. 3 minutes hard, 3 minutes easy. Better blood pressure, stronger muscles, superior results. While others waste time chasing meaningless numbers, you'll be building real athletic performance. Stop counting steps.
Reason along the way, and I think a lot of it had to do with the Apple Watch. But hey, a 2007 Japanese study with 246 adults, Johnny and Ben, found that interval walking, 3 minutes hard, 3 minutes easy, repeated for 30 minutes, was superior to continuous walking for improving blood pressure, blood glucose, BMI, leg strength, and aerobic capacity. Here was the reality. The interval group saw better results than people walking 8,000 plus steps a day. Moral of the story? Yeah, you get your 10,000 steps, but the reality is, guys, just get walking 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, just get moving.
And we can replace walk with movement of your choice.
Exactly. So, guys, the moral of the story,
if you got one leg, you don't have to peg leg it down the road. You know, do some sit-ups, do some one-legged push-ups, do whatever you got to do. But the point is, just movement we're after here.
Exactly. And you know what, guys? Even if it's not 30 continuous, you can find 5 minutes 6 times a day. Here's your 30. The point is, get after it, guys, and don't get hung up on what the number is. John and I talk about it all the time. I went for a run last Friday. The guy's like, hey, you got to run 5%. It fucked with my head. I went outside. I was running 8%, didn't even know the difference.
What's this, brother?
The number. Don't get caught up with the number. Ben Sims joining us
real quick. What is that, brother? What is that? This needs to be a symbol on the show. That's a 1 minute non-negotiable starting point.
Okay. I thought that
you only need 1 fucking minute to get started.
I thought that was my flaccid 53-year-old erection from time to time, Johnny. That's maybe
that would have been this. That would have been this. I did this.
Oh man, Ben, AI. I kicked it off with AI here when I had a little bit of a rant. AI is changing everything in sales, but you mentioned it's even disguising voices. How are you interacting with how AI is impacting sales and voices and outcalls and outreach and call centers? Talk about how AI is impacting your world.
Right. It's not that. So, all right. So here is in the enterprise sales world in B2B sales.
Yeah.
You have a sales team where AI is going. It's not this generative AI. That's what everyone knows.
Yeah.
It's the agents. So all the tech stacks, think of your CRMs, your Salesforce.coms, your ServiceNows, they're all coming out with these agents that are super easy to build. Like they're really easy. So imagine that I'm a salesperson. I want to call this company, this Fortune 500 company. I want to call Keith. I know I have something that could interest Keith. You build these agents that say, hey, okay, here's my ideal customer profile. Here's what they look like. Here's the type of company I want to call. Here's the persona. And in the past, in the not too distant past, I would have to go look you up, just like you looked me up.
Yeah.
I'd have to do all this research.
Yep.
Who's Ben? What has he done? What's this 2 Minute Tuesday? What's this cool rock thing? What's this 10? You're having to do all that research on your own. Now right before I could call you, I can have an agent pull all that stuff up and already have it documented, summarized for me within just a few minutes of me getting ready to prepare to call you or contact you or have a meeting with you. All that's done now. So that's the prep part. So think of the hours that's removed in the research time that a professional salesperson would have had to do just a couple years ago. That now that's removed for them and done for them. Now we get into the conversation. We're having a meeting, right? And we're having a conversation. I'm finding out where your pain points are, where your opportunities are, things like that. I'm finding about your business. What are your priorities? And meanwhile, the agent's listening to the conversation and suggesting, hey, based on how this conversation is flowing, here's some more questions that you should consider asking in order to delve in more and learn more. Boom, conversation's done. Then that agent's going to say, okay, great. Here's what we need to do next. Here's who you need to contact, when you do it, how you're going to do it, what channel are you going to use, and how the message should be. Here's a follow-up message already pre-written for you. And are you going to send it on LinkedIn direct message? You can send it by email. You're going to send them a text. All that's already done and written for you. You can edit it and personalize it however you want. So it's all going to be about efficiency. And the salespeople, you talked about this earlier in your rant, the old school salespeople are just going to rely on that relationship and kind of wing it, are going to get surpassed by the people who are not augmenting what they're doing with AI. Now, now sales is still always going to need human-to-human interaction. There's a lot that buyers don't know. There's unconsidered needs. There's some risks they're not considering that AI can't answer for them. That's where you need that human-to-human expertise. But to me, these agents that are being built within the tech stacks are the co-pilot sitting next to a salesperson nowadays that's going to make their role so much more efficient.
It's just getting all the shit done at a light speed faster.
It's exactly.
You know what I mean,
it's exactly it, Johnny.
I mean, like when I take and I write something up, you know, I can put my thoughts just kind of, I don't want to say rough cuts, but I can get the principle and the theory of what I want to talk about, you know, on the piece of paper or type it out. I can even voice it out. And I can basically say, hey, I want you to format this and I want it to be some short phrases, some full sentences, and it'll lay it out in a way that's very easy to read. That part would have taken me fucking 30 minutes to do.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. Hanging out with Keith, John, and Benny here on this morning. Mornings in Live with Keith and Friends. Ben Sims, we got Jason Brophy, one of our regulars on the show, saying, I like Ben. Bring him back after today for sure. Brophy, I agree with you. I can think.
You know, it's crazy. I was just watching this thing about speaking with cadence.
Yeah.
And when you speak with cadence, it's easier for a person to follow along.
Yes.
And I was kind of on the lookout. Because if I downloaded the information, I was going to pick out the next person that I saw or felt that, you know, talked with cadence. And our man here is doing it.
You talk with cadence, Johnny. You talk with great cadence, actually. And I think great communicators, there's no question Ben has great communication skills. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I can sense
because this is not the most exciting topic for me, but I'm fucking following along great.
Yeah, there you go, Ben. It's very, very true. And hey, Fastway Industries, to answer your question, you guys business owners, or what do you guys do? Yeah, I've built and successfully exited a social media company, had 500 people globally, remote before pandemic, before the world was deciding that we all wanted to have the internet, and I had a nice little exit for $50 million. So
thank you for being honest, so I don't have to do it for you, because I told you I'm done doing that whole thing. I'm done slobbing that thing.
So now that now I'm John Anderson's assistant. So I sold my business for a bunch of money. Now I'm Johnny Anderson's assistant here. And Fastway John himself has exited. John has successfully competed as a world strongman. He has successfully stood on stage as a world-class bodybuilder. And he has successfully gotten into a ring in Korea, North Korea, as well as many places around the world, and has wrestled some pretty big men around there. So and also on the business side, Anderson himself has built and successfully exited some companies as well. So there's a few guys on the show here who might know what they're doing. And the guy over there, like that Ben Sims guy, I think the guy's had a little bit of success as well along the way. So Fastway, thanks for joining us and hanging out with us here this morning. Ben, I got to go back to sales with you, brother. What's the most ridiculous misconception that someone's had about outsourced sales that made you actually laugh out loud? Because you're like, are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, it's not ridiculous. Well, of course, when people hear the word outsource, that's a swear word. They think you're shipping work.
Yeah, it's like the word habit. People don't like that word.
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't have to be that way. In our world, the brands that we're representing are very valuable, right? So you can't muddle that up.
Okay.
You gotta have that with native English speaking people and people with business acumen that can carry the story. So really important. So what we do is more, look, if it's basic call center stuff, yeah, you could outsource that. Now there's technology that gets rid of the accents. So
but you know, on that level, brother, sometimes like my insurance, I pay a premium of my insurance. So I have an agent that I can reach out to. And once in a while I have to do a call center. Yesterday, I had to do the call center. And it was an accent so thick, I could barely understand. So I just politely hung up, called my agent and said, this is not what I'm paying for. Will you please handle this?
That's a great example of where I'm going, where, what we do is probably more complicated sales, bigger deal sizes. And so, customer success and customer service and account management, what we're doing really needs premium level service. And so that's where, outsourcing is not just shipping it overseas. You definitely can find some good, sometimes there's a need for you to find good quality work. Now, the problem is what I do, think about this. Companies, sales is close to their heart, man. Like,
Yes.
I'm not going to hand that off to somebody else. Are you crazy? But what we do is we allow us, when you hire us or one of my teams, we're going to be singularly focused on whatever mission you want us to do. So there's no distraction to whatever your priorities of the day are, or, hey, what's that job over there? I'm interested in doing that. Or why aren't we doing things that you hire us? Boom, we are laser focused on whatever KPI you need us to hit, whatever revenue number you need us to hit. So sometimes that hiring someone like us removes distraction that a lot of your internal teams have. So to me, that's also an unforeseen or unconsidered benefit.
Yeah, Ben Sims hanging out with us, the VP at Market Source. Coming up in a few minutes, AJ Zeglin joining us as well, coming up with some live conversation with some mental performance discussion. And guys, I'm going to throw the sleep debt emergency, why men suddenly can't perform. We're going to talk about sleep and what's happening in the bedroom in a few minutes as well. But Ben, you say that execution beats strategy every time. Now, give me a real example where perfect planning, like you just fucking plan is perfect, but then it burned out, didn't succeed because couldn't execute. And I ask you that because I think that's a common thread for many entrepreneurs and frankly business owners and leaders that plan. And then when it comes to execution, look at the military parade on Saturday in Washington. Like plan. Nobody showed up. So talk about that, Ben Sims.
Happens all the time. So in my world, they'll spend millions of dollars for a consultant. Like, you got your big 5 consultants.
Yes.
They'll spend millions of dollars for them to come in and they'll deep dive. They'll spend 6 months deep diving, talking to your customers, talking to your employees, talking to your leaders, figuring out what's the playbook here, where's the opportunity. And then then that consultant will put a big fancy playbook together and say, hey, we figured it out. You need to go after this market. You need to go after this. You're doing this wrong. Let's optimize here. Here you go. And you'll literally spend millions of dollars. I see it all the time. And then the consultant says, here's your playbook. Here you go. Good luck. Go get them.
Yeah.
And that playbook sits there and collects dust and doesn't get executed on. So that's why I think sometimes strategy is very important. So I don't want to downgrade that. You got to be thinking 3 years ahead all the time.
Yes.
Kind of like you are. So that's I'm not going to downplay that. But then what's the difference between having that strategy and then executing is where I think the ball gets fumbled a lot. And that is, okay, now the playbook's been designed, your strategy's in place, but what are you doing to follow up on that? Where is the operational excellence? So do you have a process map to plan this thing out? Do you have a project plan to get this thing planned out step by step? Eat that elephant one bite at a time so that you're moving toward the execution. And everything I just described is common where entrepreneurs and executives and companies, they just don't do the follow-up afterwards. They spend all this money, they get all these ideas, and then there's the execution part. It's process, project management, the details, the playbooks, the step-by-steps that get you to the results that you want to have 3 years from now, to me is very important. And that, honestly, that's what makes me and the company I work for, we're great at that. Like, give us your playbook that you spent millions on from some consultant company and then they left you when they were done. Give it to us. We're going to execute it for you.
Ben Sims dropping nuggets this morning. Mornings in the lab with Keith and friends. Johnny, the guy's dropping nuggets left and right. Ben, I got some rapid fire for you, brother, with a final question, and then we're gonna get you out of here and get you on with your day. But I purposely named the show "And Friends" because those that want to hang out can hang out. But let's do some rapid fire, brother. Coffee or energy drink for those long sales calls?
Coffee. I'm not too much sugar in the energy drinks.
Oh, there you go. Good answer. Biggest sales.
There is sugar-free ones though, but I agree with you.
I'm not eating I'm not drinking the fake sugar stuff either. And neither are good for you.
There we go. I like it.
We got a man with principles over here. He's got himself all lined up in the right direction. Ben Sims' biggest sales myth that needs to die immediately.
That we're slimy and we only care about ourselves. Great salespeople, it's all about a win-win relationship. So I think sales has a bad rap because a lot of times they think we're being selfish.
I'm with you, brother, and I'll add to you. I'll add to this clip here. Without Ben Sims, the rest of your business doesn't matter. You don't have HR. You don't have operations. You don't have the nice kitchen. You don't have the food for your team. You don't have the offsites. You have fucking nothing. So you want to call guys slimy all you want. Without Ben Sims, your business is nothing, guys. There's actually nothing. There's nothing.
It's true. It's true. It's true. You don't want to call that out. You don't want to call that out.
It's true, though. Without Ben,
it is true.
It's true. Sales makes the business go around. And there's too many people that are, I got to get my HR people on tack. I got to get my operations people. So, no, go for it.
I think what he's really trying to say is you need to just you need sales to move the thing forward. So once you start to generate, you can actually build. He just says it in a way that is a little potentially misunderstood. He's all fired up, cursing like a truck driver today. So I knew what he was saying, brother.
Yeah, but do it. Don't say it. Like, as in, like, if I start walking around these hallways that way, like, hey, you don't have a job without me.
True. I'm telling you, it's true. And you want somebody to back you up. You can walk around the hallways.
But it is true.
Be your bodyguard. And
I think Keith is really more referencing to the beginning.
Yes.
You know, the beginning is where if sales is not at the top of the list, there's no revenue. If there's no revenue, there's not a possibility to build.
But Johnny, as you get through the business, and I've seen it too many times, the businesses start rolling and they start focusing on everything else. But sales, they got this.
But that's just a person that's not fucking straight in his mind, because you don't walk away from the shit that got you there. You continue the shit that got you there and do other things well also. That's the fucking problem with the mentality of most people. Oh yeah, got myself in shape. I guess now I'm going to stop doing what I did to get here.
Jimmy, I got to call it Anderson. He's telling me I swear like a fucking truck driver today.
Dude, I've never heard you cuss that much today. Listen, I'm not sitting here throwing stones like it's something I have not like saying I don't curse. I can't believe you. I'm just like, holy Christ, I've never seen him drop this many F-bombs. It's because he got that rant going this morning and he can't slow it down.
Ben, rock ballad or heavy metal, which better describes your sales approach?
Oh shit! I'm probably more heavy metal, and I should be more rock ballad, but I tend to be heavy metal.
Dude, I like you, man. Most overused word in B2B sales right now.
Circle back. There's a million of them.
Circle back is a fucking weak statement. Why would you say that in sales? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I have other things in my head when I hear
ROI. If I could hear ROI again.
LinkedIn post or face-to-face meeting?
Face-to-face. Face-to-face is the new. So everything comes back, man. Yeah. So LinkedIn, in my opinion, I've been doing LinkedIn a long time. You know that. You did your research. I'm getting turned off on LinkedIn in the last year. It's turning into Facebook. It's way too much personal stuff in there, and it's all noise right now, and it's not as valuable as
it has changed a lot in the last 5 years, hasn't it?
Really has. So to me, face to face, what's old is new again, because no one's opening emails because of COVID, because we got inundated. No one's answering the phone. And then LinkedIn's kind of become a little bit of a turnoff. So if you are selling something, I'm just going to make a number up. You're selling something that costs $100,000 or more. You got to go meet with those people in person, and you got to
hell yeah.
So while I kind of dogged on legacy salespeople that they only rely on relationships still key. So I'm not saying don't do relationship building. But you also need to be a student of what's new and coming, which was the AI conversation. But get on a plane, get in your car, go meet with your prospects, go meet with your customers. That face-to-face is a differentiator, and not enough sales teams are doing it anymore because they got stuck in COVID doing digital and virtual and inside sales. And inside sales was growing tremendously before the pandemic. and now everyone's inside sales doing this type of stuff. No. Get in the car, get in the plane, go meet with your customers. It's a differentiator.
Ben, I'll tell you, the future is wrapped up in three things: live events in real life and live conversation. Because, and I'm telling you, that's part of my rant this morning, because the ability to generate such easily generated AI video is going to make people want to get in front of human beings again in the future. And I'll say this too. I don't fully agree with your position on LinkedIn. I think it's better than ever. Why? Because of what we were doing. I've never had more success on LinkedIn because of this, because of our live car. I cannot encourage you enough, brother.
But I think, brother, but just to bring up the other side, I think he's talking about a time when you weren't on social media. He's comparing that.
I know, and I know LinkedIn's changed a lot. I get it. But what I'm saying to Ben is, and I'm encouraged to have coffee with Ben a little bit later, from what I'm seeing around the live stuff, because Ben, I agree with you, brother. It's changed ridiculously. But what I have witnessed through what we are doing and treating LinkedIn very differently, and I'll share with you offsite later, there's some strategies and some insights I can share with you, which I think might change your point of view and might give you some ammunition to re-lean back into LinkedIn. If sales learning. If sales outsourcing was a superhero, what would a superhero be?
The suspense is
Iron Man.
Yes, that's the good answer. There's the good. Also, invite your closing question. The $1 million question, Ben Sims. You've stayed loyal to one company for a decade in an industry where people change jobs like socks. When you're 80, sitting on your porch, what do you want people to say was your biggest contribution to the world of B2B sales?
My legacy is developing the future leaders. So I want to be known as I identified them when they were young. I gave them the skill sets and exposed them and introduced them to things that expanded their skill sets. We put them on a development plan, and then they can give back to the generations behind them. So I want to be known as that person that developed the next generation of leaders. That's what gets my socks on in the morning.
Ben, you are a rock star, man. You are an absolute rock star. Here's your chance to tell our audience, tell our community where they can connect with you, find with you, engage with you, work with you. Ben Sims from Market Source.
LinkedIn is probably the best way. I mean, I am on LinkedIn every day, so I'm easy to find. Ben Sims on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Ben, I appreciate you, man. I hope you had as much fun with us as we had with you today. You brought it, brother. I absolutely loved your energy. I say this to everybody. Once you're a member of the lab, you're always a member of the lab. You're not part of the Mornings in the Lab alumni. You're welcome back anytime, brother.
Hey, I'm grateful for the opportunity. Thanks for having me. Nice meeting you guys. Good luck with that.
Keep kicking ass, brother.
All right, thanks.
Awesome. That was a lot of fun. All right, guys. Ben's gonna get out of here. Here's what we're gonna do, guys. We're going to do a lifestyle tip with Johnny. We're gonna let Johnny get off stage for a break after his lifestyle tip, and then we're gonna come back and dig into some deep dive and some conversation with AJ Zeglin, who's patiently waiting for us in the green room. So, Jimmy, we're gonna run it this way, pal. We're gonna do this. That there. Where's the sound effect here? Go ahead, Jimmy. Jimmy, right there. There we go. Go after, buddy.
All right. If you're giving yourself some reason of why you shouldn't take the next step because of your own shortcoming, just remember that thought's always going to be there. You're looking at a guy who had whopping I shouldn't say has whopping learning disability. I've just learned how to manage them. I was a fat little boy. I didn't start off with any, there was nothing about me that said, hey, this guy's going to be a success. If anything, it was the opposite. But what I'm getting at is this. My superpower, what made me me, what allowed me to build multiple 7-figure companies and a whole slew of sixes, become, a pro bodybuilder, pro wrestler, pro strongman, was the fact that I was willing to take a step. I was willing to get uncomfortable. And once you get uncomfortable, you develop this skill of stepping outside your comfort zone. You've separated yourself from so many people, you really can kind of start to have what you want. But it's a skill you have to practice. So if you're giving yourself reasons, especially if they're pointed at yourself, like, oh, I need to be better at this. Oh, I need to be better at that. Oh, this is my problem. That's my problem. That's never going to stop. You're never going to be ready. You're not supposed to feel ready. So if you think you're the problem, the only problem you have is you don't have the nuts to take that first step and get uncomfortable. There are so many opportunities at your fingertips, but they're all just outside your reach unless you take the first step. This is what I do. I help people reorganize their thought patterns so that they don't really register a problem in front of them. They register an opportunity. And when you look around your world, especially in business, you don't see problems, you see opportunities. It becomes quite easy to run around and start to cash in on those opportunities. So if this sounds like you want some inspiration or maybe a little guidance, hit me up in the DMs on LinkedIn. We'll have a conversation. At very least, I'll get you some really, really good resources to get you moving in the right direction. I'm here to help people, whether we work together or not. Rock and roll.
Are you constantly exhausted, watching your performance slip in every area of life? You're not alone. Men over 40 are facing a silent crisis that's destroying their potential from the inside out. Sleep debt isn't just about feeling tired, it's about your body betraying your ambitions. Here's what's really happening. Chronic sleep deprivation is hijacking your testosterone, sabotaging your cognitive function, and creating a vicious cycle where stress breeds poor sleep, which breeds lower performance, which breeds more stress. Your sleep architecture changes as you age, making deep, restorative rest harder to achieve naturally. But here's the breakthrough. 2 simple changes can transform everything. First, audit your sleep sanctuary. Make it dark, cool, between 60 and 67 degrees, and completely quiet. Second, establish non-negotiable consistency. Same bedtime, same wake time, every single day. This isn't about getting more sleep, it's about reclaiming your power, your vitality, your edge. Stop letting sleep debt steal your potential. Your transformation starts tonight.
Sleep on your body and mind is the first step to unlocking a new level of energy and performance. It's about optimizing your healthy lifestyle. Keith Bellis, AJ Zeglin, Mornings in Live with Keith and friends. John is off having a pee break. His assistant is carrying the show for him today. What's going on, Zeglin?
What's going on, man?
I got good topics for the table today.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Hey, first of all, congratulations to Coach Paul Maurice and the Florida Panthers.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Florida did it again. I think there's a dynasty happening. It's hard for me not to think they're going to win it again next year, AJ.
I mean, knowing how hard it is, yeah, it's hard to say, but I mean, they'll for sure be in the mix. Like they've been there 3 times in a row. They won back-to-back. They got an unbelievable core group of talent there, of players and coaches. And so you got to think that they're going to be in the mix next year, right? But yeah, I mean, they got a few, at least 3 or 4, I think, really big free agents, unrestricted free agents. So we'll see what happened with some of those guys. Yeah, it's just nice to see. Obviously, see Cal win and Mark Stewart win in Edmonton would have been awesome.
Yep.
To see Coach Maurice and Coach Compton and Dmitry Kulikov and see Nate Schmidt get his first cup in Florida, equally awesome, right? To see all those guys win. So yeah, it's just really nice to see, and see what happens next year.
We're hanging out with AJ Zeglin, doing a quick little deep dive on the Florida Panthers Edmonton Oilers Stanley Cup game last night. It's over. My baby Lauren, hockey's over. Last night we put it on. She's like, it's still on? I go, yeah, it's still on, but it might be over tonight. And Lauren's coming in with a comment as she jumps in after John's little lifestyle tip. Morning, great message, John. Once you're comfortable being uncomfortable, that's where you really see progress. No question about that. And a good segue to one of the key deep dive topics I wanted to throw on the table today, which is around being comfortable, being uncomfortable, going to sleep on time, and getting used to that. Let's look at the science, guys. Studies consistently show that men over 40, leaning into this conversation, AJ, I'm looking at you, brother, because I know I got a couple years on you, particularly susceptible to the negative effects of sleep deprivation. As we age, our sleep architecture changes, making deep restorative sleep harder to achieve. And factors like increased stress from business and careers, and even changes in our morning routine can contribute to the sleep debt. It impairs cognitive function, making it hard to focus, solve problems, and maintain a positive mindset. Also weakens the immune system. And yes, the bedroom connection is real. Guys, we're always talking on this show about life expectancy work. We know if we're having more sex or our partners are having more sex, we're all living longer. But the lack of sleep, AJ, significantly impacts sexual performance and desire. It's just a vicious cycle. And sometimes many men, AJ, are caught in this snooze button cycle of, oh my God, I'm just getting beat up. I'm not having sex with my wife. I'm making bad decisions. And it just gets into a bad spiral. Let's take a couple minutes, brother, and talk about how we can tackle the sleep debt emergency and how we can help guys make some better decisions. AJ, where do you start with it, brother?
Yeah, so it is a topic I actually speak on a lot, both with people in my therapy practice, and then obviously on the performance side of things, both in strength and conditioning and mental performance. Sleep is the foundational aspects to everything else that we do, right? So when we're talking about these physical skills that we have, we're talking about the gym, going to work out and train or going for runs. When we're talking about how we're eating and the nutrition that we're taking in, when we're talking about any mental or emotional skills that we're executing for emotional regulation or how we communicate with people, all these skills work tremendously better if they're done on a rested body, if they're used on a rested body, right? So sleep's the foundational piece that kind of links all these other things together. So it really can't be understated how important it is. And my one tip for people usually when we're trying to improve their sleep is, again, this is going to sound like a broken record because we've used this tip in other places, but it's to start small, right? It's just what's the next step, right? We don't have to go from feeling like we have these terrible sleep habits to all of a sudden, I'm used to, let's say someone's going to bed at 1 a.m. doing whatever, and then all of a sudden they're just going to stop. And that day they're going to go to bed perfectly at 9 p.m. and have the greatest, most restful sleep of their life. It usually doesn't work that way. We usually get there in steps. So it's going to be like, hey, what's the smallest thing? Like, what's something that we can take out that's maybe contributing to your poor sleep, or what's something that we can add in? And if we're looking to extend our sleep, you're not just going to magically fall asleep 4 hours earlier than you're used to. But if we knock that sleep time back in like 10 or 15 minute intervals. So if you're usually going to sleep at midnight, cool. Now we're going to go to sleep at 11:45. And once we're going to sleep at 11:30, then we're going to sleep at 11:30. Right. And we kind of just knock that back, and you get there one step at a time, like anything else.
It's so
I love it, brother. Real quick, I just want to say one as a real world example. By the way, what's up, brother? Good to see you.
Yeah.
When I ratchet, when there's been different times in my life where, like when I was wrestling, I wouldn't even a lot of times get in the ring till 8 o'clock. Right. So then when wrestling was over, bodybuilding, I wanted to go back to my early schedule again. So I would take these little bits like AJ's saying for sure. But then when I wanted to go, say from, 4 to 3, like I'm doing now, those would be like 15-minute chunks.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't really even notice that I was 15 minutes, and I would do that 3, 4, 5 days. And so you really don't, it's just a simple step that doesn't make you suffer, so to speak. You don't have to suffer to do a lot of this stuff. It's just that people are, I don't know. I think when it comes down to people, so that's too difficult because they try to do it all in one step and they fail. It's like, I'm going to start working out. I'm going to go to the gym for 3 hours a day. It's going to last about 3 days. Why don't we reduce that to 30 minutes instead of 3 hours? Let's start there. So the small step thing, brother, I don't think they can hear that too much.
I agree with you, Johnny, because I myself is a living example of that as well. And it's incredible when you say, John, and AJ, like moving things up for 5 or 10 minutes, because you actually don't notice it. But when you do it, it actually works. And John, I love what you said, because we're talking to men that are like, I'm going to change my life right now. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to work. I'm going to go to sleep better. No, actually, no. Do one thing first. And then because I was the guy, and AJ, even when I met you, brother, as you worked to change my life, I was coming to doing. I remember coming to meet you with you, and I was trying to find the answer I wanted to hear, and you kept going, well, no, but this is the answer. I'm like, no, but I want to hear this answer. And then I tried to do 10 things at once. I'm like, no, actually, it doesn't work that way. Just do one thing. So
it's so fucking true, brother. It's so true.
Yeah.
Let me dump another real world example.
Yeah.
On. So every year it's a protocol for air conditioning. You have your shit serviced, right? So the guy comes roughly every year. It's the same guy. I'm loyal, local guy. I like to give my business to the local, the non-blockbuster companies. And, the guy first time I met him was about 5 years ago when we bought this house. You know, he comes out and he sees me. He's like, man, you know, I got to get in shape. And I was like, yeah, dude, it's great. Just start small, you know, just like you're saying.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And following year, hey, how's that going? Oh, well, yesterday I let him have it. I said, all right, dude. I did. I let him have it. I said, look, dude, I come walking out and he looks at me. He's, oh my God, you're better than the last time I saw you. I'm a little leaner. Right. Yeah. And I'm like fucking 15 years older than this dude. Yeah. And so I looked at him and I said, but before I didn't even say hello. I said, how many years in a row are you going to tell yourself that you're going to make this change and not do it? This is 5 years now. And you haven't made any progress towards this. And he just looked at me and goes, oh my God, you're right. It was like this fucking eye-opening fucking moment. And the whole thing came from every time he gets motivated, he tried to take these big fucking chunks that he couldn't maintain versus had he started off with 15-minute commits per day, he would have been, the amount of progress he'd have made in 5 years would have been fucking insane.
So let's throw some tips on the table for everybody. So some of the things that we might want to consider, and I love the word might, you know, because when we give you the word might, you guys make the decision, right? We're going to make recommendations and suggestions, but you guys make the decision. So you might want to make your room dark and cold, AJ. That might be something to do, right? I'm a fan of getting it cold. It's funny. Last night I was going to bed and I noticed it was a little bit warm. I just rolled over, turned the temperature down, and I just fell asleep like a baby, right? Cold room is better, AJ Zeglin. Dark, cold room. Agree?
Yeah, I mean, typically when the room is darker, that usually means that there's less distractions going on from the light that we're being subjected to. Also, a lot of people don't realize this, but our body actually has to drop about our brain, you know, drop about 1 degree Celsius in temperature to enter into that first stage of sleep. So it's got to cool off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when the room is cooler, it can just kind of help us do that, right? It can help us get in that environment. So even if you're, you know, under the covers because your room is cooler, that's okay. Your head is exposed, head and neck or whatever's exposed outside the covers. So that can be a really helpful tip to help your body go through that process, right? Another thing to add to that, if some people have their showers at different part of the day, but if you're a nighttime shower person before you get into bed and you have a really hot shower, as soon as you get out of that shower, you know, you're so hot, your body's working extra hard to cool itself down because the core temperature came up, right? So then you get in a cool room and your body's already trying to super cool itself because it was so hot from the shower, and you get in a cool room and that's cool. And that whole process, those two things together can even help you kind of drop that degree in body temperature even more effectively so you can get in that first stage of sleep.
As well as, and I think the most important, so obviously cold room,
dark.
Dark. I think, John, and something you talk about all the time, and I'm working really hard at it myself, the consistent sleep schedule. Every single day, 7 days a week, even on weekends, go to the same time, regulating your circadian rhythm, your body's natural sleep-wake cycle. And that to me, Johnny, I think is the absolute game changer. When you can do that Monday through Monday, that's the number one thing right there.
Here's another little tidbit we haven't talked about much, but it helps me a lot. Don't use your bed for anything other than sleep or having sex. Don't go climb in your bed and hang out there and fucking scroll, because the association is not to go to sleep. So like for years, I had TVs in my bedroom and I would always go there to watch TV to kind of wind down. Well, it was almost like I would wind down, but I would never really go to sleep. Now, when I lay in that bed, it's my body knows it's time to sleep. I lay in that bed. There's no distractions. There's no stimulation, and it's just pow. So that's really helpful. A lot of times people don't recognize that by hanging out in their bed, they're not doing themselves any favors.
Yeah. AJ, closing comments from you on sleep, brother, before we keep the show rocking and rolling here. We got Nick Suino. I see him in the green room. The guy lived for 4 years in Japan, training world-renowned masters, author of 12-plus books.
Nice.
Look, Nick, really? Come on.
Here's where he was. I've been all over that country.
Yeah, he's a martial arts master. The guy's done a few things. We got Nick Suino joining us in a few moments. We got Victoria Chavez, who we celebrated in the community corner a few weeks back. She's joining us as well at the bottom of the hour. AJ, let's close the conversation on sleeping. Any closing comments from you, pal, before we get after it?
Yeah, like I said, it's the foundational aspect that's going to really help contribute to positive outcomes in all the other areas of our life. So don't feel overwhelmed by the idea of it. Start small, whether that's, going to bed 5 minutes or 10 minutes earlier, do that consistently, or just changing one thing, whether it's getting rid of one thing, like John said, the TV in your room, or just pick one aspect, one thing. Take that first step and then just keep building off of that, and you'll be successful.
There you go. Zagan, what do you got going on today, brother?
In the gym today, and then working with some athletes on mental performance this evening. So it's an all-day one today.
That's it. That's
nice.
Boys, before you guys leave, AJ, before you leave, Johnny, we got a guest coming up here. I got a friend in the feed here, Thomas from Africa, joining us. Thomas guided my family, and Tom, I'm not going to say her last name. He told me how to say it, but I fucking forgot back from he told me, and I'm not going to even try. Tom is joining us from Africa this morning. Tom was shaking, brother. I love you, man. You guys are looking for the greatest safari guide on the planet, like the greatest dude, and Johnny, and AJ, human being. Tom, I think it's Nagoyas, all right? Tommy, you're gonna have to call me again later. Tell me your name. He's joining us in the comments. What's shaking, brother? And Johnny, he agrees with you, man. Use your bed for nothing else other than sleep. Yeah. That's the story. Yeah. One out every now and then. Every now and then you might want to do that too. So, guys, coming up here in a sec. So, AJ, we're gonna get AJ out of here. We're gonna do a quick little second here. We're gonna bring Nick Suino up. AJ, have a great day, brother.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll see you later.
AJ.
Have a good one. See you guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Jimmy, I'm running the hook. Today's guest has mastered the ancient art of the samurai sword, built 7 successful businesses, and just got back from teaching 600 people in Austria how to find their inner warrior. Oh, and the guy buys his friends' products at full price just to support them. Oh, there you go. Stick around. This guy's going to be legendary. Jimmy, let's run the clip.
Meet Nicholas Suino, the man who's mastered both the ancient art of the samurai sword and the modern battlefield of business. While most entrepreneurs struggle with one venture, Nick has built 7 successful companies spanning martial arts, digital marketing, and publishing. This isn't just another business story. This is about a 4-decade journey from student to 8th degree black belt, from dreamer to serial entrepreneur. Nick spent 4 years in Japan training with legendary masters, becoming a 4-time All-Tokyo champion. But here's what makes him extraordinary. He took those warrior principles and applied them to building businesses that actually matter. Just returned from Vienna, Austria, where he taught martial arts to over 600 people. Nick represents something rare in our world. He's proof that ancient wisdom and modern success aren't opposites, they're partners. Today, we discover how the way of the warrior becomes the way of the entrepreneur.
Black belt who spent 4 decades mastering Japanese martial arts and somehow found time to build a business empire spanning from SEO to swordmanship. The guy literally lived in Japan for 4 years, became a 4-time champion, and then came back to write the book on everything from AI disruption to ancient warrior wisdom. He's the founder of the Japanese Martial Arts Center, co-founder of Michigan SEO Group, and an author of over 12 books. Jimmy, let's bring him up. Let's bring in Nick Suino.
How much do I have to pay you for that intro?
Jimmy, I think we got a new Roofy. We got a new revenue stream coming out here with our AI generated intros for all of our awesome guests. Yes. Nick, where are you joining us from today, brother?
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Oh, Ann Arbor.
Oh, no shit.
That's where our buddy Adam House joins us from as well. So that's yeah. There you go. There you go. So Nick, you have this beautiful quirk where whenever a friend starts a new project, you seem to buy it at full price and tell the world about your experience. Is that just something? Are you just like the ultimate friend or what?
I don't know about that, but listen, how would you want to be treated, right? You start something out,
brother.
If you got a line
I
of
still
friends,
agree with you,
right? Sorry, guys. If you got a line of friends sitting there, with their hand out saying, "Hey, you started a new thing, give it to me for free," right? That makes it a lot harder to go. So I just figured I'd rather have people help me out when I start. So I do what I can with.
Well, as your friend, you should say, I want to support you, not, hey, fucking cut me some slack. If you're $1 billion fucking business and you got a buddy who's fucking broke and he's trying to rebuild, okay, that's a different. But you're starting, a friend should never come in and fucking ask for some sort of a fucking cut. He doesn't get it.
100%.
Oh, well said, man. I'm glad you said that because I think too many people like, oh, well, Nick has a business. He's gonna give me the friends and family discount. No, you should be paying full fucking price. Actually, not the family and friends discount. Like, come on, guys. So,
I mean, I'm happy to do when someone like, family and friends come in and they pay me, I will do a spectacular over the top job. That's how I'm saying thank you. But the idea of them coming in saying, hey, give me a cut in the deal, I don't know. I just think that psychology is really backwards.
I agree with you, Johnny. I absolutely agree with you. We got Brophy coming in the horizontal feed saying, I never work with friends or family, always ends bad. There's some interesting truth to that as well. So Nick, we are massive fans of transformation on this show. Johnny's a transformation lover. I am as well. We love when folks can go through a transformation. And I got to tell you, as I was doing my research on you and looking at your content, you've mentioned transformation and transforming people dozens of times across your platforms. Clearly, it's important to you as well. What's one transformation in your own life that surprised even you, Nick Suino?
Good question. Good question.
I love this question. I've heard it said that we only change through inspiration and desperation. And my first big transformation, I went down the law school profession. I went to law school. I clerked at the Michigan Court of Appeals. I clerked for a Michigan Supreme Court justice. Had a great law career for about 10 years. I was fucking miserable. And so my transformation was, I threw that aside. My wife was lovely enough to stay with me, gave up all that income, gave up a ton of money, and went back to what I loved, which was martial arts. And that was right? Broke.
Dude, I love that.
Broke ass. For 3 years, I had no money. Lived in a cheap ass apartment, and it made everything better. Listen, I want to just say this. I want to get this in. I have fulfillment, opportunity, and a fundamental community around me. When I was doing law, all I had was fucking money.
When you went to your martial arts, you might have been broke financially, but you were fucking rich with purpose and the quality of your life. I had a buddy, literally just had him on my podcast a couple of days ago. He literally was a lawyer, had a firm with like 23 practicing lawyers underneath him. I mean, according to the American Dream, he had it. And he said, this is not for me. And he basically just shut it all down and went into the fitness industry. I mean, he's a mogul there too now, but just like you, he's like, my passion is over here. I'm starving the part of me that wants purpose, and I'm trading that for dollars, and that's not a fair trade.
I can't even follow that up. That's exactly right. That's the coolest sentence I've heard in the last few weeks.
Well, brother, I love the fact that you did it. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah. Nick, you came back from Vienna. You had this Vienna adventure. 600 people learning martial arts from you in Austria. And it sounds like it's a setup for like this just amazing movie. What was the most unexpected moment from that trip that you learned?
Ooh. Where are these questions coming from, dude? Jesus Christ.
Johnny, I got a good sleep last night, brother. Come on, let me deal with it.
Maybe you just need to. Is it something to do with all the cussing? Maybe you need to cuss more because you're dropping some good questions in here today.
I hope that's permissible on this show.
Fuck yeah.
He warns everybody from like the first minute in.
Yeah, put the headphones on.
But he usually warns them about me, not him.
Listen, it was an amazing trip. There's a huge promoter in Canada. John Terrian is a huge martial arts promoter in Canada, and he created this opportunity for me. The people were amazing. They were so welcoming and kind. They worked really, really hard, even though they had no idea about the swordsmanship that I teach.
Yeah,
that was phenomenal. I'll tell you you asked for the most surprising moment.
Yeah.
So after it was all over, the VIPs, we all went out to this restaurant out in the countryside. And it was this amazing family-run restaurant where in the back was a farm, mostly pig farm, and everything in the restaurant was grown on this farm. I was a kid. I was raised by German grandparents, and one of the staples at the dinner table was blood sausage. I don't know if you ever had it.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't like blood sausage.
Yes.
If someone doesn't know,
right?
Explain what that's like taking a bite into that so people understand.
See, I don't know what other people experience when they have it. For me, it's a very nostalgic taste, right? It's kind of irony, right? It's meat with blood in it, and but I was raised on that stuff. I had not had it in 50 years, and so in this restaurant, I've had a couple of schnapses, and they brought the menu out, and there's blood sausage on the menu. So I had blood sausage for the first time in 50 years. I realize that's not martial arts, but it was surprising as hell and delightful.
And so everybody understands it's this sausage, but when you bite into it, yes. I mean, you're getting a mouthful of blood that's usually coming out the corners of your fucking mouth. You're very difficult to take a bite and not have some end up on your fucking plate or even on your shirt.
Yeah. Jason Brophy coming in with fire episode. Keith, bro, I'm with you, Brophy. Today's episode is fire English breakfast specialty. We got Nicholas Suino, an 8th degree black belt who spent 4 decades mastering Japanese martial arts and somehow found time to build.
Let me ask, 8th degree. What I understand. Yeah. What's the maximum degree? I don't know that I've ever heard of 8.
Well, so in classical Japanese arts, 10th degree is what they give you when you're in hospice, right? When it's sort of you're
it's over.
This is as good as you get. But honestly, in most of the arts I study, after about 3rd degree black belt, it's all stuff about contribution, right? How much have you helped the art? How many students do you have? Yeah. What have you done?
Oh,
So the skill set is developed at 3.
It's not that you stop, right? I mean, I still train virtually every day. But like in judo, for example, the fighting rank is about 3rd degree black belt. After that, it's not ceremonial, but it's a lot. It's no longer relying on how many people you can beat at a tournament.
Yeah.
We got Victoria Carrington Chavez joining us at the bottom of the hour for the community corner. Right now, we're hanging out with Nick Suino. Jason Brophy asked you a question. Black belt in what, Suino? Japanese martial arts, I guess, right? What's that?
Okay. Yeah, I've actually been doing this since 1968. My highest rank is in a martial art called Iaido, which is a very classical Japanese sword art. So I have the 8th degree in that. I have a 7th degree in judo, 6th degree in Japanese jiu-jitsu, 3rd degree in karate. So the list goes on. The arts, all that says is I just have never fucking quit.
Yes. Where in Japan were you? I spent a lot of time over there as well.
Most of my time was spent in Tokyo. All my teachers in the dojos I went. I'm assuming you spent time in Tokyo.
My home base was Tokyo Dome Hotel. That's where we were based at.
Oh yeah, outstanding. I love that town. In fact, I'm going in a couple of weeks, taking my wife and kid there for 10 days to mostly eat, but maybe a little training.
What's your favorite outside of Tokyo? What's your next favorite city?
Holy cow. I went down to Kyushu one time and went to this little village in the mountains next to the ocean. I don't even remember the name of the city, but living, for a week in this countryside village, probably you've never heard of it. I just, eating seafood and met the local doctor and the samurai guys that, the samurai recreators down there and stuff like that. I love the countryside in Japan, but I got to tell you, Tokyo is crazy, man. It's the best.
Do you ever go down to Roppongi? Did you ever go to Roppongi?
I spent way too much money and way too many. I've had way too many alcoholic beverages in Roppongi.
But there's the interesting thing. Roppongi, there's people from all over the world down there partying, have a good time, and there is no fucking trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you go to a place in America where that type of diversity is there. There's fucking problems everywhere. It's just a different culture.
Yeah, you can find them in Tokyo, but you gotta go looking for trouble.
Yeah.
Hanging out with Nick, John, and Keith talking Japanese culture right now. We got a question from Brophy for you, Nick. Anytime in Brazilian BJJ, Nick?
Yes. It's kind of a hobby because I'm a little bit busy. But we roll, if you know judo, you know that judo has a ground element that really kind of is the sister martial art to BJJ. I do groundwork or BJJ style training about twice a week. I go to seminars pretty often. I have some mentors that I train with. I love it. And if I had more time, I would pursue it more vigorously.
So I just want to point out one thing, brother, before I start to interrupt Keith. So you started this, this gentleman started this in 1968.
Yes.
So how many decades are we talking about here? We got to be coming up on what?
57 years.
Yeah. So coming up on 6 decades. I mean, I make the claim that I'm 4 decades deep. You're 2 ahead of me. And so for people that When you do something for this amount of time, you become an expert in a way that most people can't comprehend. And that's what we're talking about right here. This gentleman has such deep understanding of all these different arts. It's because he committed and he showed up for fucking 57 years. That's awesome, brother.
I think it's exceptional. And the guy looks like he's 28, Johnny. So clearly he has either some good Botox and fillers or good lighting. I don't know. Or just to get sleep on time. Nick.
Hold on. You were talking about how young you look. Who looks younger?
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I got good lighting, man. I just got good lighting here today. Nick, I kicked the show off with some talk about AI because I'm leaning big time into it. You've written a book called AI versus Everybody. Are you team human or team robot? Nick Suino.
Listen, we're all going to be team both if we want to thrive in the future. I think human evolution and AI are now inextricably linked. That's going to carry us into the next century and off the planet. The only way we thrive is if we embrace everything about AI and try to lean into the good side of it.
Well, I want everybody to listen to ears go up here because we got somebody here who values ancient traditions. Right? Let's think about that, right? The guy has been doing something, practicing ancient traditions, yet he's leaning into cutting edge AI. But Nick, how do you reconcile embracing that cutting edge AI with preserving those timeless martial art wisdoms that you've learned?
Man, it's a work in progress.
I bet it is.
I mean, this is such a fast evolution. I'm hanging on like everybody else, but I'm trying to be proactive. I'm trying to learn as much about it as I can. And I'm trying to use the tools in alignment with the core values that, I know that you guys value, right? Fitness, accomplishment, positive attitude, building a good network. I think you can use AI to help with all those things. What I don't know is when AI gets smarter than us and has an independent mind, I'm not sure how that's going to go. But I think without AI, we don't survive another century or two. So I think we've got to leverage it.
I agree with you. We got Rufy coming in. Rufy, you said what I was thinking, brother, so I'm just going to say it out loud. And Rufy says, 1968, did Nick start before he could walk? I was thinking the same thing, man, because I'm looking at this dude, and when he dropped 68, I was trying to do the math in my head. I'm like, holy fuck, man, was this guy like doing this in his mom's womb or what? But geez, Nick, good for you, brother. Nick, something that struck me on your LinkedIn profile. Johnny, you're going to like this. Your LinkedIn says, true power is found not in force, but in presence. Can you give us a real world example of when presence beat brute force in your business life?
Woof. Man, I had an MMA example teed up for you, and then you took me into business. Presence always beats force in business. At least for me, I'm an advocate of slow, steady growth and longevity in business.
Yeah,
I've been in business almost 20 years now in the marketing side, and I'm dealing with this week. I've got a client who's we've been working on a marketing project with this guy for 3 months. He's not happy. All I can do is show up, listen, try to solve the problems. I'm not yelling at the guy. Why would that doesn't help me? I think presence always beats force in business. Maybe not when it comes to marketing or opening new channels, but when you're dealing with other business owners, that's what they want, right? Is they want to be heard and understood.
What I also love about you, and John, you're going to listen to him on ears up on this one. John's a big fan, as am I, about this idea of limiting beliefs. People in their head have limiting beliefs, and we don't think we can do something. You help people overcome their limits, real or imagined. What's one limit that you thought was real yourself that turned out to be completely imaginary?
I'll tell you what it was. I grew up with really limiting beliefs about money. I thought money was a sign of being shallow and an unvaluable human being. My folks were academics and artists, and I thought we disdained money for, it took me until I was about 35 years old to realize that you can have a life of integrity and authenticity and still be successful financially, right? That was a tough one to overcome.
Yeah. Nick Suino joining us here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends here. We're going to do a rapid fire, Johnny, before we walk him out of here. Nick, most embarrassing martial arts moment?
Oh my gosh. First day in Japan in a judo dojo. They put me with a 16-year-old brown belt. I kicked his ass. 25 black belts beat me up for the next hour and a half.
Oh.
If you had to choose to give up business or give up martial arts forever, what would you do?
I'd give up business in 2 seconds.
Weirdest thing you bought to support a friend?
Ooh. I got no answer for that one.
One word to describe your experience in Austria. One word, Suino, one word.
Abundant.
What? Like and Nick, if you had to write the title of your autobiography based on everything we've talked about today, the martial arts mastery, your business empire, your Austrian adventures, the AI stuff, what would that title be, Nick? Your next book?
The Exceptional Martial Artist.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. And what's the title of your very first sentence of chapter 1?
I started martial arts in blah, blah, blah. And then, I don't know, man. Woo. These
There
are
you
great
go.
questions.
Nick Suino joining us all the way from Ann Arbor, Michigan this morning. What a wonderful 50 minutes we spent with you, brother. I got to tell you, man, I got a guest showing up here. Victoria Chavez is hanging out with us. If Victoria wasn't here, I'd have you along for much longer. I love your energy. I love your responses. I love everything you stand for. Nick, where can folks find you, connect with you, engage with you, work from you, get more from you, my friend?
Okay, so JapaneseMartialArtsCenter.com, NicholasSuino.com, and Punch, Kick, Choke, Chat. That's our martial arts podcast.
Solid stuff. Johnny,
Like
any comments from Nick before he leaves, pal?
Brother, I'm just going to say, I can feel the purpose oozing out of you.
Yeah.
I fucking love it, dude.
Yes. Yeah. And
Fan of you guys now. Holy cow, what a great conversation.
Nick, my lovely wife's coming in saying so good. She's appreciating the conversation as well. So Nick, I'm going to tell you something, brother. I tell us to everybody. Well, I don't tell us to everybody. I only tell us people that I like. I like you, so you're welcome back anytime, brother. You're part of the alumni, so you come back and hang out with us anytime. You drop some nuggets, and I encourage you to subscribe, hang out with us. Mornings in the Lab, we get after 8 o'clock Eastern time every single day. Nick Suino, I appreciate you, man. I'm looking forward to grabbing coffee with you later today, and lots of love. And congratulations on all your accomplishments, man. You are such a multi-layered individual. Nothing but props to you, pal.
Thanks, guys. This has been amazing.
Awesome. All right, Nick's going to get out of here. Jimmy, before you run the clip on Victoria, we're going to quickly say goodbye to Anderson. I know he's going to rock and roll. Johnny, what a fun show today, man.
Yeah, it was good. You had some great questions too, brother.
Anderson, come on. Are you surprised, brother? Like, come on, brother.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. Sometimes the questions are a little thin, But I mean, listen. If we don't know sour, we don't understand sweet.
That's exactly it. That's exactly you can't have love with you can't have love with the other word, Johnny, that I don't use anymore.
That's it. And it's and keep in mind that's a position from that's my opinion from my position. Some of the questions that may not have been great for me, some of our people could have loved them.
That's right.
But today, I think you hit it for everybody all the way around the horn. So great job, brother.
Thanks. Thank you, boss. I appreciate that. John Anderson, assistant here. I'm Keith Billis. Johnny, listen, before you say goodbye, buddy, I know you've had I don't know if the word challenging is appropriate, but I know you've had an interesting 18 hours in your life. So get after it. Take care of yourself. Take care of your crew. And I love you lots, and I'll see you in less than 24 hours on tomorrow's Loop. Okay, pal?
Thank you, brother. Nothing that a good workout and a good nap won't fix. Let's go.
Exactly. And Zeglin has your number now. So you should be, I told him to text you because his assistant wants you to text him. So
good. That's
all
it.
Right. All right.
Keep that up. Well, next time I need something, I'll drop you a line.
I will make sure I stay on top of that. All right, Johnny, gonna get out of here. We've got Victoria Carrington Chavez, the self-proclaimed marketing bandito behind the Story Saloon. Yes, that's actually what she calls it. Happy hour for your brand. Jimmy, let's run the clip, brother.
Today we've got someone who turned middle school chaos into entrepreneurial gold. Victoria Carrington Chavez kept 8th graders engaged in Spanish class through TikTok videos. Now she uses those same storytelling skills to help entrepreneurs become legends in their industries. Meet the self-proclaimed marketing bandita, founder of The Story Saloon, think happy hour for your brand, This Afro-Indigenous Latina powerhouse doesn't believe in boxes. She's a TEDx speaker, 2025 Rising Star Award winner, and somehow managed to run a thriving business while driving 6,000 miles across the country. Victoria specializes in helping purpose-driven entrepreneurs, especially BIPOC and neurodivergent creators, transform their authentic stories into strategic content that builds trust and community. She champions the both-and philosophy. You don't have to choose just one identity, one passion, or one path. From classroom creativity to cross-country courage, Victoria proves that your story isn't just worth telling, it's your competitive advantage. Welcome to the lab.
Chavez recently celebrated by Chelsea Byrne. She's here hanging out with us today. Let's get the applause. It sounds like this. What's going on, Victoria? I see that smile. I saw you smiling in the green room. I saw your excitement. I saw the energy coming in here. Buckle up, everybody, because Victoria's story is about to take you on a 6,000-mile journey across the planet. What's going on, Chavez?
Just chilling, Keith. I like you because it's 6:30 a.m. where I'm at, and I'm not really a morning gal. I like to kind of hang with the nighttime.
Oh, you're the nighttime,er, are you?
A little bit. I mean, a lot of fun stuff happens at night,
I do know.
No good happens after midnight. And
no, actually, Chavez, you're wrong. Nothing good happens after 8 o'clock because the pantry and the fridge stares at me and it says, Billis, make bad decisions. Eat this, eat that. No, I got to go to bed because these bad decisions creep on me after 8 o'clock. So as I get older in life, I recognize that midnight moves a little earlier in life there, Chavez. So no, I'm a morning guy now, kid. I'm a morning guy. Where are you joining me from today, by the way?
So I'm joining you from sunny California. So I'm in the northern part of the state. So a lot more trees. So
thank you for getting up with me this morning early. I know it's early for you there, so I appreciate that. Victoria specializes in helping purpose-driven entrepreneurs. We celebrated her last week. Chelsea Byrne celebrated in the community corner. She celebrates purpose-driven entrepreneurs, especially BIPOC and neurodivergent creators who own their authentic stories, transform them into strategic content that builds trust and community. Producer Jimmy, she's got over 10 years of content experience. She's evolved from creating classroom TikToks to keep middle schoolers engaged to running a global storytelling consultancy, 2025 Rising Star Award, TEDx speaker. All right. Hold the fuck on. You saw my profile, haven't you?
Me? Yes.
And you noticed what I do say on my profile.
Yes.
I am not. I've never been a TEDx speaker. Tell me about your TEDx experience, Victoria Carrington Chavez.
It was amazing. It was something that I had really wanted to do for a long time. I think it was just this whole idea of stepping into a stage and having an audience like listen to you and be there with you and cheer for you, which like when I started watching TEDx's like 15 plus years ago, we didn't have as like streaming and some of the things that we have now. So I just like really just wanted to step on that stage. It was awesome. My TEDx was about embracing my multiracial identity, which basically was the story of how my mom was like, hey, my daughter doesn't fit into a box and deal with it. Like she just told me, be all of who you are, which is what I help clients with. Cause a lot of times people are like, what's my niche? Or what about this? Or and I'm like, who are you? Who are you talking to? And just like run with that. Like, and you can be fun. Like fun and stories are going to really make an impact, especially help you stand out. Like you do. Like, I mean, I saw the Eminem. I was like, Keith is a vibe and I cannot wait to get on Keith's show.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. Victoria, so most people don't know that your business empire started because you were desperately trying to keep 13-year-olds interested in Spanish conjugations. Like, dude, so is creating that viral classroom content on TikTok harder than building a brand strategy for Fortune 500 companies? And I'm going to assume the answer is yes. Was it?
Yes. I mean, keeping 8th graders engaged. And then you also then add in, we had pandemic years in that. Yeah. It was like, it felt impossible. But like once you started really being able to speak to them, because that's one of the biggest mistakes I see in brands is they're creating content not for them, they're creating content for themselves, not their audience. And like as soon as I started making those TikToks for like my Spanish class, directly speaking to those middle schoolers who were tuned out, things really took off. And yeah, it was definitely a lot harder. Middle schoolers, they have no mercy.
You call yourself the marketing bandida. I love that. And your LinkedIn literally says that your job title is that. Was that a strategic branding decision, or did you just get tired of the boring corporate speak other than the TEDx title? Like, so what drew me to your content was that, yeah, I stand proud. I'm the marketing bandita. Marketing purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it started a few years ago. I was working with a client and they were complaining about the algorithm. And I was like, listen, working in social media. Yeah. I said, it's like the wild west.
Sucks. Actually, no, hold on.
Your content.
People who fucking complain about the algorithm don't recognize that their content sucks. It's not the algorithm. Your content is shitty.
Yeah. Yeah. I basically said, listen, that algorithm can feel like the wild, wild west. It's consistently changing, and you just got to be clear on who you are. You need to blaze your own trail and stand in that. And they told me, they were like, you're like a marketing bandida. You're out here telling me I can break the rules, do my thing, but also be myself. And I was like, I like that. I'm going to go with that. So I started telling people I'm the marketing bandida, because yes, there's a lot of marketing speak out there that's really boxy.
Yes.
Which is, I gave a TEDx about being outside the box, and it's very boxy. Do this, or people would be like, be authentic, but nobody would tell you how to be authentic other than just really owning your story. Like, you can be both. And that was the whole point of my TEDx. I can be a TEDx speaker. That's kind of a little bit more on the corporate side, but I can also be a bandita that goes on podcasts at times. And I swear, like, I have a slogan that's like, I have ass, I have sass, but no ash.
That's awesome. I have ass. Jimmy, there's the clip. The interview's all done now because the clip is done. Victoria Carrington Chavez. She has ass and she has sass, but she has no ash.
No ash. I'm fully moisturized and unbothered today.
We got Lauren coming in saying, loving Victoria's energy. I'll listen to her all day. Lauren Soul. I'm loving this. And Chelsea Burns coming in with, you're amazing. Victoria, Chelsea nominated you, which introduced you to me. And I got to tell you, you just mentioned something about the word authentic, and I want to lean into it. I've been looking at your content, and you've been preaching authentic storytelling since way before, frankly, it became trendy. It's going back on LinkedIn. You kept talking authentic. You literally said, while it might seem like a trend now, for me, it's always been the core. What I found fascinating by Victoria was that, did you realize that while you were being authentic, you were ahead of the curve? Or were you just actually being yourself while everyone was catching up? And then before you answer that, was that, do you think, the reason for your TEDx speech, because of your identity? So you embraced your identity as being a multiracial human. This is who I am. I'm authentic. Like me or not, this is who the fuck I am.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the second one, where I just was out here being me, because the best version you can be is of yourself. And I had also my identity journey. It's why I can help people with that identity complexity. And it wasn't until I was like, this is who I am. I stand on that, like, you know, like it or not. And when I stood in that, not only in the TEDx, but in my own content, that's what resonates with people. A lot of times people are trying to recreate, and you're right, your content, like, if you're not getting some of that, like, your content might not be clear, it might not be connecting. But when you stand in like who you are, you're being yourself, you're creating, you're being consistent, and you're creating good content, like, fuck the algorithm. Like,
no, but
you're gonna create resonant content. You're gonna get the impact that you need. You don't need 100,000 followers to do it. You just need to be your fucking self.
Chavez, Jimmy, she's dropping the F-bombs too. I love it.
Drop the F-bombs.
We got Corrales Cachola coming in with, yo, Victoria's an amazing storyteller. I can already tell. Victoria, you dropped TEDx. And there's something that you have, you may or may not be aware of, but you have this both and philosophy pattern. And when I look at your TEDx talk and your interviews, you're constantly championing this both and mentality, being both creative and strategic, both teacher and entrepreneur, both vulnerable and professional. Now, did you realize that this has actually become your signature philosophy for helping people break out of these societal boxes, or was it intentional?
I think that there were parts that were really intentional, but a lot of it was really just showing up as me. Because a lot of time it was the thing that I did that was like breathing, right? I've been navigating this both and world since I became aware that I was navigating this world since I was a kid, you know? And a lot of times the thing that we're missing in our brand sauce, I call it the sazon sometimes, is the thing that we do that's like breathing. It's the thing that we think that nobody wants to hear, nobody wants to listen to. It's so second nature and we ignore it. But really, it is our superpower. That's why I say your story is your superpower. And there's probably something hiding in that, in your origin, that you're missing. Like when you just like own it and when you say like, this is who I am, like you're right about the TEDx. I applied 5 times and I did not lead with the multiracial one. I was like, nobody wants to hear that. Oh. It's been done. And it wasn't until I led with that one that I got it, that I stood on stage. I got a standing ovation at my TEDx and like numerous like mic drops. So, you know, what are you sleeping on? That's sometimes what I tell people. What in your story are you sleeping on? Because that is probably your superpower.
Then let's go here then. So you've said that you don't believe in fitting into boxes. So then, Victoria, when was that moment? Was it the first attempt for TEDx? Maybe it was the 5th. But when was the moment that you realized you were done? I'm fucking done trying to shrink yourself for other people's comfort.
Yep. Actually, yeah, it was a couple summers ago. I went on a retreat with other jefas, and I went to Mexico and I sat on a beach and I was like, you know, I'm done playing small. I'm done quieting myself. I'm done not swearing on podcasts because that's not very professional. You know, that's not ladylike or any of those things. And that's kind of, I think, the rise of the Bandida as well. It is a little bit of this alter ego of, you know, I spent some years in corporate marketing and I was really shy. I was really quiet and I wouldn't speak up. And being like kind of a Bandida isn't just about breaking the rules. It's also unleashing not just my voice, but helping others unleash their voices. But yeah, that was on a beach in Mexico with some jefas.
That's awesome. We're hanging out with Victoria Carrington Chavez, the marketing Bandida, founder and creative director. She's joining us all the way from California here today on the show. Victoria, you work specifically with BIPOC and neurodivergent entrepreneurs. What's shaking to all my neurodivergents out there this morning? What's shaking, Flinner? What's the biggest storytelling challenge that this community faces that others who are tuning in right now might not understand? Victoria.
For neurodivergent entrepreneurs, I see a couple things. One of them is the consistency. So finding a system that works for you. And it gets to be your system because there's so many different creators out there who say, use this or post on this day. It's all about the consistency that works for you. That's something a lot of neurodivergent folks have trouble with, including myself. And I have to have a system. And the second thing is own your weird. Like a lot of times as neurodiverse folks are like, we're too weird. I mean, I made a whole entire story brand because I've been creating and drawing stories since I was a kid. And that's the thing that works. So own your weird, be wild, be you.
Love it. Corral is coming back in with Victoria. Quote unquote, get the F out of here algorithm. Yes, exactly. And Global coming in with a comment. When criticized, many quit. Creators not accepting new ideas from viewers or asking for input. You're absolutely right, Global. And then Global comes back with, if one complains about algorithm, I agree with you, Global. It's not the algorithm. It's you. True story. Speaking of you, I invite you guys to join the conversation. We got the Mornings in the Lab hotline. Jimmy. Put it up, please. 431-300-3005. We are pretending it's 1989. Hey, Mom, Dad, I might be phoning you here pretty soon. You can bring in the phone calls. You guys can bring in the voicemails. You can give us the text messages, 431-300-3005. And, of course, we got the store open, the Morning.store. Yeah, we got some hats there. We got the ultimate Mornings in the Lab sticker. Victoria, it's the greatest sticker ever made. Like, I
love it.
Accomplishments as a human being designing this sticker. Yeah, true story. We have it in the store there. So for those of you that are looking to put some Mornings in the Lab, stickers on your product, we have that over there as well. The Morning.store over on the Mornings in the Lab channel. And of course, we've launched the Mornings in the Lab community too. Ooh. So if you guys want to join the community, of course, the show is free. If you guys want to contribute, starts at $3, $15, $20. And no, it's not to line my pocket. No, I got enough money in my pocket. Yeah, not really a true story, but It's about investing in what we're continuing to build for all of you on the biggest morning show, getting after it every single day. LinkedIn, YouTube, and X, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Hanging out with our friend Victoria Carrington Chavez. Chelsea Burns celebrated her last week in the community corner. And I love the fact that she got her ass here quick. We have some people who are celebrating. They take a lot of time to get here. And I was sitting back. I'm like, holy shit, she's already here.
I mean, I don't mess. I came to slay. I didn't come to play.
I love it. You're a storyteller. Mm-hmm. What's one storytelling myth that you're tired of busting?
Oh, that story is just fluff for your marketing content. That it's nice. Oh, it's nice to have. Story is powerful. I mean, stories are the things people can engage with story for hours. People recall stories in their brains in ways that they don't other types of facts. So if you are sleeping on story in your marketing, you are missing opportunities. That is a myth that I, love to bust.
Do you think it's overused? The idea and the concept of storytelling?
I think the word can be overused. I think the concept is as ancient and old as us as humans. Well, I think that we've been using it to communicate and connect from the beginning.
What one might say that, many humans read the greatest storybook of all time every morning when they read the Bible. So, or the Quran or whatever one's choice is to read. So I ask the question because often people say to me, fuck Keith, I'm tired of hearing about storytelling, story, authentic storytelling. No, there's a purpose storytelling works for humans because we want to hear somebody's story. That's the purpose of this show. There's a purpose for transformation because people want to know that Victoria was a school teacher and then she had to have to solve a problem with some TikTokers and now she's doing this. There's a story there. So many people lean in, right? So I love that, you lean into that as you lean into that whole concept as well. All right, let's do some quick hits for you, rapid fire, before we get into who you're going to celebrate on the community corner here today. TikTok or LinkedIn for authentic storytelling? Victoria.
Oh, LinkedIn.
Yes. Road trip playlist, reggaeton or indie folk?
Oh, reggaeton. Some Bad Bunny, Benito, claro.
I see Bad Bunny was criticizing some of the administration this week. Hey, Canva or Adobe Creative Suite?
Canva.
Teaching 8th graders or coaching entrepreneurs, which is harder?
Which is harder? Teaching 8th graders, absolutely.
Favorite emoji to use in professional content?
Oh my gosh, I use the hands up emoji and the fire emoji a lot in professional content. Take that as you will.
That's awesome. Mountains or ocean for
Mountains.
Creative? Oh, didn't even get a chance to finish it. And then my final closing question for you, kid. I like to call everybody kid. You've built your whole brand around the idea that your story is too important to go untold. Victoria Carrington Chavez, if you had to write a book about your biggest, most embarrassing mistakes that actually led to your success, what would chapter 1 be called and why?
All of my failed Tinder dates.
Oh. All right, coming back for episode 2, Victoria Carrington Chavez, entitled All My Failed Tinder Dates, on the next episode. That is awesome. That's a really good answer, Victoria. I love that. That's a lot of fun. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to do this here. I'm going to make it sound just like this. Oh, listen to the sounds, Victoria. You ever walk into a meeting and you feel the tension before anyone says a word? That's real. Most people ignore it. Jimmy, most people ignore it. The creator we're celebrating today built his whole life around seeing it. Because when you can't read the room, things go sideways motherfucking fast. Suddenly, your team isn't talking, projects stall, the morning routine that usually gets you moving just fizzles out. And if you're the guy in charge, it feels like you're just driving with the lights off. Well, the guy we're going to celebrate here today treats culture like physics, not just talk. He's the person big companies call when the story is off, when momentum is gone, or when a business feels like it's about to break. This guy's been in the war rooms with Apple and Adidas. Or is it Adidas? He's helped founders untangle messes after a $250 million swing. He built Seeker, a company that tracks how culture and narrative move in real time. No theory, just real mechanics. Today, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, along with our friend Victoria Carrington Chavez, is excited to celebrate Evante Daniels. Yes, it is. Yes, he's a builder, an advisor, and the first call leaders make when the stakes are as real as it gets. If you're tired of surface level pep talks and want someone who's seen what pressure really does to a team, follow Evante. He's the guy who helps you see what everyone else is missing so you don't have to learn the hard way. Victoria, thanks for nominating Evante. Why did you choose him for today's Creator Spotlight on Mornings in the Lab Community Corner?
Because without culture, we don't have anything. And this is a guy who can see it, who can sense it, and can tell you how to bring it out in a way that lets the stories continue.
Yeah. Here's how it works, Evante. Chelsea Burns celebrated Victoria Carrington Chavez. And then we invited Victoria to the show. She's here today hanging out with us. I gave her the old Mornings in the Lab spotlight, and she decided to sign it on you. So now here's how it works. We'd love to have you in the chair where Victoria's sitting right now. Well, not in her chair, but in the chair. And we'd love to give you the light so we can pay this forward and keep this magnificent experience of building community and celebrating exceptional humans like you, Evante. Victoria, awesome, man. What a great celebration. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on the show, Keith. It has been a really fun way to wake up and start my morning.
Victoria. Good morning, Amy Reinert, Chelsea Burns, Evante, Culture. Victoria, how can folks connect with you, find you, engage with you, work with you, get more of the energy that you are serving up? I think my wife's going to be connected with you because she wants more of your energy. So how can folks get more of your energy, Victoria?
Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn, Victoria Carrington Chavez. You can find me at lilacandaspen.com, which is my main brand. Also, you can find me at the Story Saloon and also on Instagram and TikTok at Victoria Shares Stories. And so excited to talk to you and exchange some stories. Let's go.
And you know, Victoria, I don't know if you told him, but Evante Daniels on the show right now. He's in the horizontal channel watching the show right now. Evante, what's shaking, brother? Where's my camera? Right over here. We're celebrating you today, brother. And I thank you for tuning in here today. I'm not sure how you got it. Surprise, surprise, brother. Evante, would love to have you on the show, man. This doesn't happen often, Victoria, where somebody gets alerted and they show up. So I love the fact that in real time he heard the note. He's showing up here this morning. So Evante, would love to have you on the show, brother. You're going to get some word from us, and I'm going to give you a link just like Victoria got in here, and we're going to celebrate you, going to get to know you a little bit, and then we're going to pass you the light to celebrate somebody else as well. Victoria, I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
You are welcome back here any day.
Thank you. Thank you. There's the hands up emoji, right?
You bring this energy. You bring that attitude. You bring your authentic self to the show all the time, kid, because I would love to have that energy anytime you want to come back here, okay?
Thank you, Keith. It's been an honor and a pleasure. And,
I'm looking forward to grabbing some coffee later with you as well, okay?
Absolutely. Cheers.
All right. Jimmy, let's get her out of here. Let's move her out of the lab here, and let's move the discussion to this. All right, it's time for the community corner. Woo, what a big show today. Oh, we're going to bridge the gap. We're going to take the best of LinkedIn over there, and we're going to take the best of Substack over there, and we're going to bring it into the middle, and we're going to celebrate some people. Because if you ever wonder what happens when you stop chasing purpose, and you redefine stability, or you question the very idea of motivation. Today, we're going to dive into the stories that challenge the grind and flip the script on success and might just make you rethink that morning routine. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Let's move on over to here. Number one, the Parisian purpose or lack thereof. What if the secret to satisfying life isn't about finding your purpose, but about living well right now? Wow. Pamela Claps with Love from Paris throws a croissant at the American obsession. Yeah, with purpose, and asks, do we really need to define ourselves by our jobs or our goals? Wow. In France, it's all about curiosity, culture, and being present, not just purposeful. Pamela shares how she learned to stop measuring every moment by its productivity and started savoring life's little joys, like family, weekends, and art exhibits. Maybe being fully alive is its own kind of purpose. So fellas, here's the question for you. Has your relationship with work and purpose shifted over time? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about living with intention, not just ambition. We'll love to hear from you guys. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Boom, boom. Guys, stop chasing reality. Stop chasing stability and build it like a boss. Are you hustling for stability or are you building it from the inside out? Wow. Lex Levin's Stop Chasing Stability created challenges the daily grind. He says true stability isn't handed to you by your boss, the economy, or even your bank account. It's something you create through intentional choices and adaptability, and I'll add accountability. Wow. Lex drops 16 principles of time, money, optimization, from treating time and money as tools, not goals, to embracing your inner entrepreneur and even redefining what enough means. Rufy, what's the takeaway? Don't just chase security. Design it, own it, and let your daily intentions reflect your values. Here. Let's keep momentum going here. I agree with you, Rufy. Might be the best show yet. 3 sick guests dropping nuggets and motivation makes me want to kick some ass. True momentum coming out of the lab. They all started with the opening hook. All you guys just don't see what's coming in front of you here. Wow, I know who does. There's a CEO who worked himself sick and the guy who didn't. You guys ready for a plot twist? Anthony Walsh shares a story about a CEO who called him uncommitted for sneaking out for a 90-minute bike ride during lunch. Fast forward, and that same CEO suffered a heart attack at 42. Anthony's point? Every 80-hour week might just be a confession of incompetence, not commitment. Prioritizing your health and sanity is the real power move, you guys. So are you grinding yourself into the ground, or are you making time for what matters? And here's a secret for you guys. I'll give you some time back. Don't hit the snooze button. I got no time. No, you spent your time wasting it by snoozing. Stop snoozing, get up, get after it, and go achieve those big, hairy, audacious goals. All right. Can you really motivate anyone? Here's a spicy one from Ritu Marish. Can leaders actually motivate anyone, or is motivation strictly an inside job? Well, Ritu argues that motivation is personal and internal, but leaders can't create the right environment for it to grow. Think trust, autonomy, and connecting work to what matters. It's like gardening. You can't force a plant to grow, but you can give it sunlight and good soil. So leaders, are you watering your plants? Are you watering your team's motivation? Or are you just hoping for rain? What's worked for you in building a culture where motivation thrives? That's the question you have to ask yourself. All right. Those are some powerful things to reflect on, you guys. And as you get after today, ask yourself, are you living with purpose, building your own stability, and rethinking what real motivation looks like? And remember, if you want your story, you want your post, you want your article featured in this part of Community Corner, I invite you. Post it on Substack and LinkedIn and tag us in that next post. All right, we're going to close it up here with our last person we're going to, not the last, no, the next person we're going to celebrate here to close up the show here today in the Community Corner. And, we've all hit that stretch where life feels flat. You could do more, but it's easy to settle for the routine. Days get blurry, excuses get loud. You start to wonder if things will ever feel different. But then you meet someone who doesn't accept stuck as normal. He decided to actually do the work, figuring out what wasn't working, facing tough truths, and building new habits from scratch. He didn't try to look perfect for anyone. Nope. He just wanted to get real, get better, and help other people do the same. The guy rebuilt his life, starting from the basics. He trains, he coaches, and he leads by example, not just advice. He writes a weekly newsletter where he shares what's actually working for him. No big promises, just honest progress. Who's the guy? Who are we talking about? We're talking about Chris Harrison, personal trainer, coach, and the guy behind the Substack publication, Progress. He's serious about growth, but even more serious about helping others show up for themselves. So I invite you to check out Chris's work on Substack. Subscribe, follow, engage, or just start a conversation because you will see the difference. And Chris, here's how it works. Chris Harrison, would love to have you on my show. Would love to have you across from me in the chair to celebrate you, get to know you. So I can hand you the creator spotlight so you can shine it on somebody in your community so we can continue paying this forward. That's the community corner. That's the creator spotlight on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Every day, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on LinkedIn, YouTube and X, and on Substack. Okay, Jimmy. Woo, baby. What a fun fucking show today. Yes. All right. Well, I'm going to start playing with some sound effects because I think we're going to wrap it up. Let's go through it, Jimmy. We kicked off the show with a little bit of a rant. Guys, if you're not digging into the world of AI, you're going to get left behind. How do I know? Because I did it once before. Yep. When I was growing my old business, I was leaning into things that people looked at me like I was a weirdo. And I'm seeing it happen again. So those of you guys that are not paying attention, I invite you to pay attention to what's happening around you. Who else do we have in the show here today, Jimmy? Let's just go back through it all. We started the show off with a guy named Ben Sims. The guy's been a sales leader for a long time, kicking ass out there in Georgia. We continued the conversation with Zeglin. We got into make your room cold, guys, so you guys can sleep better at night. Many of us men, as we're aging, getting past the 30s and 40s, your sleep's going to suffer. We gave you some tips there at the bottom of the first hour here on how to improve those sleep habits. Got into the second hour. We continued the conversation with Zegler on sleep, but then we had in Nick Suino, martial arts master, owning 7 businesses. What an awesome conversation with him. And then we continued the show with Victoria Carrington Chavez, joining us all the way from California, from middle school Spanish teacher. It's a 6,000-mile road trip. What a wonderful little bit of energy that Victoria Carrington Chavez brought to the lab this morning. And then we got into the community corner, and now we're here. So on behalf of myself, on behalf of my buddy Roof. What's going on, Roofy? Roof, you've got a big day today, brother. We got some great meetings coming up here today. And hey, the hour 3 is still potentially alive. Read between the lines on that one, guys. I'm excited. Maybe that's why I got the energy this morning, Jimmy. Tomorrow, we got Kevin Owens coming up on center stage. Not the wrestler. No, not the wrestler, Kevin Owens. On behalf of Johnny, on behalf of Marty, on behalf of AJ, on behalf of Victoria, and Nick, and Ben, and Jimmy, and Melissa, and Lady Drew, and Holroyd, and Reinhardt, and everybody. I feel like it's romper room right now. Evante, I'm your host, and Keith Billis. I'm going to get the hell out of here. My bladder's calling. We'll see you guys tomorrow right here, 8 o'clock. LinkedIn, X, YouTube, and hey, 431-300-3005. Come join the conversation. We'll see you guys tomorrow.